Something will occupy your prefrontal cortex. If it's not you, it's some other guy. Most of you depend on the hope factor. David Goggins talked about that. That's what you're meant to do. Time in nature, time with quality male friends. There's only 2 ways to cure overthinking. There's only 2 other ways to get into contact now. The way you stay in touch in between the dates is either with phone calls or with Instagram stories. That's it. Are you posting Instagram stories? Oh yeah, you can text as well. You can, obviously, yes. But the chance that you'll fuck it up is too high. So I would just keep it real simple. I would just, in between dates, stick to logistics. Before the first date, you have to follow the texting framework. And then in between the dates, I would just stick with logistics, Instagram stories, and have a phone call. A half an hour phone call will spike her emotions more than a couple of texts ever could. Because remember, there's an inverse correlation between the passing of time and her emotional investment in you, if you're not spending that time together, obviously. So Instagram stories are super important. It's genius. It's high-level marketing. And that's what you have to do as well. Now, you don't have to do Q&As, but a lot of you post Instagram stories of nature. Talk to the camera. Put your face in the camera. Talk about wine. Look, this wine, blah, blah. And I would have somebody film me pour a wine, right? Or show a girl how to open a special bottle of wine. You and a couple of women opening a special bottle of wine. It takes very little time, but the ROI, the return on investment on Instagram stories is extremely high. Because think about this. Something will occupy your prefrontal cortex. If it's not you, it's some other guy. Every woman you want, some other man wants. So if you're not in her mind, somebody else will be. And remember, anything that gets you in touch with her creates connection. So a phone call, a text, an Instagram story, ideally a date. But then time passes and she connects to other things in her life or other men. So the way you stay connected is with phone calls, texts, or ideally Instagram stories in between the dates. Unbelievably powerful. And you have so much cool shit to show it. The wine here and there, Just make sure you don't come across as an alcoholic. Make it more about the flavors and im Gaumen, blah, blah, Abgang im Gaumen, keine Ahnung, you get me? Why won't you make it exclusive yet? You could. You've been dating non-exclusively. You're really happy. You don't have to wait for her to initiate it. That's amazing. Yeah, make it exclusive. When are you... Commitment now. When are you going to make it exclusive? My suggestion is you have a phone or a video call with her today. If you've never done a video call, don't do a video call now. But if you've been doing them, do one now. Do one today. Just make it exclusive today. By the way, I'm the last person to get you to rush into something like this. But in this particular scenario, there's no red flags. It's perfect. And by the way, just because you make it official right now doesn't mean you can't end it in 3 to 6 months. Obviously, that's not the aim of the game. But I would make it exclusive today. Another success story, another happy relationship. There you go, guys. Boom. You please have to start using the texting framework because nowhere does it say to ask her 4 questions in a row. Because you killed it by asking her 4 questions in a row. Your first photo is in Hamburg. Blah, 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 Hamburg. Not only did you ask her 4 questions, 3 of the 4 questions were something around Hamburg. First of all, your entire texting conversation is you asking her 4 questions. 3 out of the 4 were in relation to the city. That bores the fuck out of her. It's an easy fix. The good thing is it's very easy to fix, but you have to use the texting framework. Otherwise, you'll keep losing the matches. This was completely unnecessary that this died just because you didn't follow the texting framework at all. You override overthinking with more action. It's always the answer. There's only 2 ways to cure overthinking. Get more clarity, come into these calls, talk to me, and I can give you a precise action plan on what needs to be improved. And then it's more action. That's it. A lot of men, I would say most guys in here, struggle with overthinking to an extent. The way you cure this, and by the way, I used to as well, the way you cure this is with more action and more clarity. Fact of the matter is you're not overthinking 24/7. 16 hours a day, you're not overthinking. There's moments when you're overthinking and there's moments when you aren't overthinking. Let me ask you this. When you're in the gym and you're having a hard workout, are you overthinking in that moment? When you're doing an approach, when you're on a date with a girl, when you're fully present with her, are you overthinking? When you're making love to a woman, are you overthinking or are you in the moment? So when you're engaged with life, when you're doing something, you're not overthinking. You're overthinking when you're on the toilet, when you wake up in the morning, when you go to sleep, when you're passive. Then your mind goes loose and you can't control your mind. That's the problem. But the way you control your mind is only in 2 ways. You take more action or you sit and meditate, and you watch thoughts arise in the space of loving awareness, but you don't identify with them. That's it, very simply. And so the way you can also cure overthinking, by the way, is just get more dates. Because if you had 4 dates this week, would you give a fuck about any single one of them? No, you wouldn't. And the reason you're overthinking in your job, by the way, is because you only have one, right? And I'm not telling you to get a new job, but it's good to ground yourself, at least mentally, in abundance. If I were to not have this job or this opportunity or this client, I'll get one more. If you're overthinking with a client, get more. The reason I'm not overthinking with any single one of you is because I don't depend on every single one of you. There's not a single one of you that I depend on. Couldn't care. I care about you. I care about seeing you guys win. I really give a shit. I think you know this. We really care about seeing you guys win. But I don't care about getting one particular client because why? I commit to process. I have a process that works. I have a process of client generation that works. So the more you go to the macro and refocus on the process, easy. So what happens in the moment when you're overthinking is you either meditate or you take more action. That's it. You ask yourself, what can I control right now? Let's say you're sitting there and I hope she's going to text me back. Instead, what you do is you send 5 messages on Instagram, you go on dating apps, or you do a couple of approaches. That's it. You take more action. Anytime you're overthinking and it's painful and you feel weak, you take action. More action is the answer. Or you meditate. That's it. But just sitting there, watching your mind come up with some self-defeating bullshit doesn't help. And remember, the mind, left to its own devices, will always focus on what's wrong because there's only opportunities and threats for your brain. And your brain was shaped into its current form hundreds of thousands of years ago when we lived in tribes where we were fighting for our survival. A threat can be much worse than an opportunity can be good. Because no matter how good an opportunity can be, a threat can be ultimately worse. Death. Your brain thinks you're going to die. If anything you're afraid of, your brain associates ultimately with dying. That's, by the way, why you're worried of rejection, because you're worried that eventually it'll kill you, or you'll get sent into exile from the tribe because you're doing something that's too far outside of the norms. You'll take the woman of the tribal leader away and he won't like that. But if you just do the thing, fear disappears. You look whatever you're afraid of in the eye and you go right through it. That's how you cure fear. So when you're overthinking, take more action. That's it. And when you're too tired, then you lie in bed and you meditate, or you sit down and you meditate. And by the way, exercise also reduces overthinking. Meditation reduces overthinking. I have a 28-minute guided meditation in Module 6 that you should watch and do. That will help you. All of Module 8 will help you overthinking, because overthinking, by the way, isn't just cognitive, it's also physical. I guarantee you, have a hard fucking workout for an hour and a half, you'll have a lot less overthinking going on in your head. Because exercise quiets the brain. Exercise quiets the brain. Meditation does that too. Meditation quiets the mind, it opens the heart, and you return back to yourself. And then the answer is get more clarity, take more action. That's how you cure overthinking. And when you're on the date, you just got to be prepared. You have your stories, we role play, and then it won't be an issue. Whenever you're overthinking, I hope she's going to text me back. It's not that I don't have these thoughts. It's not that we don't have these thoughts. You recognize the thought and say, ha, 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 scarcity. Ha, ha, ha. I remember that one. Fuck that. Back to abundance. And you recommit to abundance every single day. And remember, you can brute force an outcome into existence. Never with any particular individual. If a woman isn't interested in you, you let her go instantaneously. But the outcome of a relationship is something you can force into existence. Never with one person, but with somebody who wants to be with you. A healthy body, you can force into existence. Finances, you can force that into existence. With the brute force of sheer will and dedicated action every single day. I made an Instagram story yesterday. You said that I should make a reel out of that, and somebody else told me about that as well, so apparently it resonated, so let me touch on that here today. Most of you depend on the hope factor. David Goggins talked about that. You hope that the run is going to end soon, that you don't have to do that many push-ups. Translated into this area, you hope that the date is going to go well. I hope she will text me back. I hope she won't meet some other guy. I hope I won't get rejected. Fuck that. Hope is weak. Hope to get rejected. Hope that she leaves you. You want her to leave you if she's not right for you. Pray for more rejection. Hope is only for these circumstances where you're dying of cancer and you're lying in bed and you're praying to God that He'll save you. for extreme life or death situations. Hope is weak. You're not in control. It means you outsource the responsibility you have for the outcomes in your life. You think that the outcomes in your dating and your relationship life depend on luck. Anytime you've been on a date, it wasn't luck. You did something to create the date. You may have not been aware of the actions you took that led to that date, but you created them. You sent an Instagram message, you talked to somebody in the gym, you talked to somebody in the bar, you did some stuff on dating apps. And the more you break that down into weekly KPIs, couple of hours a week, 15, 20 minutes a day, you realize, oh, I am 100% in control of these. Depending on hope feels fucking weak. I would rather be in control. Your job as a man is to create certainty from within. Oh, I hope she'll text me back. Fuck that. Let me do 20 approaches when I have that thought. As punishment for entertaining such a weak thought, I now have to go and do 20 approaches. Because let me tell you what happens when you go and actually send a couple more messages on Instagram, start a couple of boosts on dating apps, do a couple of approaches in person. You get factual abundance and you won't care about that particular outcome. You can only have the type of woman you're willing to lose. You have to be willing to walk away at any given point in time if a lack of compatibility should present itself. Stop depending on the hope factor. You are in control. Ask yourself, what am I in control of right now? And then you commit to high leverage activities like dating apps, like Instagram, like in-person approaches, like coming into these calls, making sure your mindset is on point, your head is in the game, your skin is in the game, role-playing, everything. You don't want to depend on hope. Whenever you catch yourself thinking, oh, I hope, more action. And don't punish yourself for a thought arising. Jack Kornfield says awareness isn't enough because awareness can turn hostile towards yourself. You want loving awareness. You want to be lovingly aware and say, the fearful mind, the judgmental mind, the hopeful mind. Thank you for your opinion. I'm okay right now. And then you say, I'm in control. Intention. You are in control, not any individual thought. You're not your thoughts. You're the intention behind it, the loving awareness behind it. That's why it doesn't matter if you have a random thought every once in a while. Everybody's had crazy, weird, silly thoughts. The only thoughts that have power over you are the ones you choose to believe and empower. And you can disassociate from disempowering thoughts. Oh, I hope she texts me back. David is a little bit nervous. But you can repeat the thought with a Donald Duck type of voice. Oh, I hope she'll text me back. I don't want to get rejected. Oh no. And then you can actually laugh about it. That's called disassociating from the suffering side within yourself. You say, David is a little bit nervous. Oh, Sergio's a little bit nervous. Sergio's being a bitch. Ha 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 ha. But you say it with a warm and loving intent. Not actually hostile. You have to refuse to live in an adversarial relationship with yourself. And then you step outside of that part and you relate to yourself from a more competent side. All of what we're doing here, guys, is leading you back into a state and an experience of competence. That's all it is. An experience of competence which is primed. I rarely wake up in the morning and feel competent. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and feel great. Sometimes I check my phone and I'm like, fuck! For those of you who run your own business, if you're doing it at a certain level, some awesome shit happens every day and some bullshit happens every day. Usually not every morning. Sometimes you have all of your ducks in a row and it's amazing. But sometimes you wake up and you're like, fuck, some fires to deal with. Or some good shit. Good shit every day and some problems to solve. I wake up and I'm like, oh, fuck. So I have to do things every day. There's some people who don't have to do that. But if I don't exercise regularly, I don't feel as strong as I'd like to. For some, it's meditation. For some, it's time in nature. For everybody, it should be time with quality male friends. But your habits have to be on point. Because whether you're overthinking or not, it doesn't just depend on the things we previously talked about. It actually also depends on how much time you spend with quality male friends. Did you ever notice that when you spend time with quality male friends that you're not overthinking at all, but you're just shooting the shit and you're laughing, everything's fine, there's no problem? Times you suffer most of the times you're alone. Before, during and after you spend time with your quality male friends, you feel a lot better. You don't overthink when you're engaged with life. That's why approaching in person is so powerful. That's why going on dates, spending time with quality male friends. That's what I want to be written on my tombstone, hopefully in 250 years. Quality male friends. Very few actually put this into practice. But guys, hear me now, because other than having an amazing woman by your side, the number one thing that will add to your happiness is spending 5 hours more per week with quality male friends. 10 hours more a week. Nothing will add to your happiness like that. Mark my words. My friends and I, we did a Red Bull race a year ago. It's like a Tough Mudder, like a shorter version of a Tough Mudder. But basically in the middle of Ireland, there's a big field. You got to jump over, climb over some stuff, literally dive through the mud. You didn't actually have to do that, but I did it anyway. And it was really cool. And we're competing against other teams and you're running. It was a race. And then by the end of it, we're full of mud. I was more so full of mud than the other guys, but everybody was full of mud, busted up knees, busted up elbows. And we're standing in front of some old shed, massive shed, where they had some impromptu showers. Like 30 dudes, half naked, just with their underwear, waiting for their turn to shower. It was a bit cold. Do you think there was one depressed person there? No, everybody was having a fucking good time. Why? Because men were doing manly shit. Men were competing with other men. It was awesome. That's what you're meant to do. Time in nature, time with quality male friends. Other than having an amazing woman by your side, you need both. It's not just either or. The men who only go after having the right woman by their side, they're not balanced either. You need both. All of you need to add more quality friends. Module 7. Did you watch Module 7? Probably not yet. Watch Module 7. I filmed an entire module on step-by-step how to find quality male friends. Go to a more expensive gym, pay at least $100 a month, ideally between $100 to $200 a month. Talk to guys in the gym. In 1 month, you'll have a new friend. And don't be disappointed if the first guy you speak to won't be a friend. You have to talk to 10 to find one really good one. Most guys don't talk to 10 dudes. Talk to people and you'll meet friends. I make friends everywhere. I remember the first year that I came to Ireland, I talked to some dude in the supermarket. He was from Venezuela and he then invited me to the Latin America parties that he threw where he was making arepas. He was working in the supermarket. Super nice guy. Is this the most high value fucking friend? I don't give a shit. Nice, loving dude. You can make friends everywhere. But ideally, if you go to a gym that's expensive, you at least get guys who are professionally a little bit more successful. Remember, male friendships are always based on some sort of activity in addition to having the same values. What are you going to do as men? You got to do shit together. You're going to go and talk to women together. You're going to talk about business together. You're going to go and work out together. You're going to spend time in nature together. That's basically it. Here's what you do. You make it exclusive with her today. You have a phone call with her, just a really nice one. Then you make it exclusive. And then you can, these days, make a post with her. I would have zero caption, no caption on it, just a picture of you and her. Fuck yeah. Another happy relationship. That's great.